Dage is not doing the ban picks. In fact, still going to be the original Korean coach here. And for RNG, Stake is now at the helm instead of Kesman.
Of course, Kesman was traded away, but WE going to pick up the first pick. Silas got a lot of flex potential with the other flex picks being banned out. That one's a given. And now, question remains. Clement,
Akali is still up.
what do you want to see here from WE that we didn't see last game, or do you not think it was a pick ban problem?
Well, I feel like it was an execution problem. I don't think the ban picks were actually that bad, but they got outpaced by RNG. There was a couple of plays where they did not expect RNG to go in on them that hard. Like that 2v1 in the top side, their mid lane didn't really have the understanding that even in a 4v3 they need to back out. And those were like the extreme margins that RNG beats you with. So I wouldn't say W played poorly, I just think RNG just outplayed them in certain instances. And Akali and Olaf, the two highest priority picks left, RNG just slams them down. Quite easy to predict.
I'm happy to see the Akali again on Xiaohu, because while he wasn't the one who ended up carrying the game, the amount of pressure he put onto Xie definitely slowed down WE's game plan. Yes, they were able to put a lot of pressure on Longqing, but they weren't able to put it anywhere else as a result because Xie was so far behind. WE going to be responding with a strong bot lane of their own. They're securing both the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus.
This is probably the highest damage combo bot lane at level 1. You get the plasma stacks, and you also have the potential for the staggering blows coming down onto the Nautilus. Lots of damage in that bot lane. I really like this bot lane. At MSI, we saw Flash Wolves play it quite often, and a lot of teams disrespected the amount of damage you could do earlier on with this combination. So W going back to their roots, playing around Mystic, playing around their main damage dealer. And just a reminder, I felt like Mystic was probably the strongest AD carry in the spring split, at least for regular season.
Absolutely. Once patch 9.4 hit, that man solo carried WE into the playoffs, it felt like, because he was absolutely disgusting. But now, RNG going to answer with their very own AD carry pickup. They're going to be getting the Sivir for Uzi there.
This seems like the Yuumi again. I wonder if W just ban it out, or do they have a good answer coming from the jungle position? My guess is that they just ban the Yuumi. They've already played it, so if they're that confident in it, they're probably not going to give it over to RNG. You can see Ming is twitching his lips. He's like, oh no, I want to play that.
Will be the Yuumi taken away, and of course, jungle bans coming out for RNG. Don't want to give those strong early game champions in the Xin and the Jarvan over to Beishang.
Beishang is also a huge part of WE's resurgence. Remember, they were actually at the lower end of the bracket earlier on. Beishang came into the roster, and W improved to 67% win rate with him there. They won the last 6 matches of the spring split to get here. And I think it's correct that RNG is showing him a lot of respect. You don't want him to snowball those early lanes, especially when you're playing something like a Sivir that can get ganked quite easily.
Morgana pickup coming in there.
Interesting.
Likely for Ming at this point, but remember, we still have the potential for flex picks into the... Put the Akali in the top lane, put the Morgana in the mid lane, so we need to wait till the last pick to see where RNG wants to put everything, and that puts a lot of pressure onto WE.
Black Shield was nerfed quite heavily, another 2 seconds on the cooldown, so if you want it to be viable in terms of trading patterns, you do need to put more points into it, and it does take away from your wave clearing potential as well. It does seem like Ming still favors the champion pick. And for Pose, he's going to have to show something blind here in the top side.
The Renekton worked out for him well last game, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it again.
Don't think Kennen's a viable answer with Akali potentially going to the top side.
Yeah, come on. There it is.
Yep.
Lock
Renekton, good counters to the Akali, goes great into anything basically.
And I think Post performed pretty admirably last game on it. He was able to get a lead over Longqing. But coming into this next one, need to see what the final pick is, see where everyone's going with this one.
It could be a mid laner, support, or top lane. So RNG keeping their options quite open. It will be a support Karma. Now this is one of those pocket picks that that pretty much only Ming plays in the LPL so far. It's a great pick in terms of pushing the lanes out, and it also does have the same effect as Yuumi with Olaf. You get the speed buff onto Olaf, you can chase targets down. We're going to have to wait until 20
They're still deciding where they want to put it.
Teleport, I think it should be Morgana mid. I think teleports run more on Morgana mid. For Karma, you could run something else. There's a lot of heals on Karma as well. Yep, it should be the Karma mid. Never mind.
No! Stop it!
The observers have to show us 20 seconds. So 20 seconds is when you have to lock your picks in, and you can no longer do the switching around thing. But, okay, here we finally see it. So this is a catch composition with a lot of movement components. If you can speed the Morgana, she can break the enemy formations quite well. I think it's very good against a 5v5 composition that W are running. And Karma Olaf is another super strong combination. I've actually seen this has kind of been the bread and butter for Carson and Maple back when they were on the Flash Wolves. You just speed the Olaf up, undertow lands, and you can just chase people down. Very strong mid-jungle combination. Karma against most matchups does have the lane priority as well. And on the other hand, for WE, we do see a more bot side focus. It is a Nautilus placing plasma stats down for the Kai'Sa, maximize her damage. And then in the top side, you have a stable Renekton there. Should be able to do quite well and have the early game lead against Akali on Longxing.
I will say, though, if you look at this RNG composition, it would be hard to find a composition that keeps Uzi any safer than this from CC. You have the Black Shield, you have his Spell Shield, you have Xiaohu putting out shields, and probably Ardent Sensor as well for Uzi. So that's so much attack speed, so much support for him coming into game number 3.
I think the key point in this early game matchup is actually going to come down to, can W actually find a gank with Sylas and Rek'Sai earlier on to Karma, limit her ganking potential, or is Karma going to get the lane shoved in and then start roaming around with Karsa? If the later happens, I think RNG has a huge opportunity in the bot lane. They do have the lane priority as well. And here we go.
That is so aggressive. Oh my god, they might just get first blood here. The binding went down. There it is. Ignite plus binding equals 1 dead Mystic.
The mind games were great there from RNG. Now, we've seen a lot of teams when they're going up against an Olaf combination, they can't really stand in the inner try. If they stand in the inner try, they get hit by undertow. They have to give up early summoners. So instead, they backed off. But RNG played around that point. They preyed on that mentality, and they still found a first blood, this time in another brush. They're doing it again. Oh, come on. Oh, my God.
No!
It actually worked. Okay, I didn't expect that to work the second time. I have to be honest.
I don't think anyone did.
Mystic could have walked towards the other side of lane, and he would have been fine. That's just a little bit of tilt, I think, coming out from Mystic. The tilt coming in from the fact that he could have played a little bit more careful.
You know the worst bit about that, Clement? The picture-in-picture we just saw? That wasn't the second time that Ming and Uzi did this to Mystic. That was the third time. He didn't die the first time. It missed. They went for it again, killed him, and then went back to wait for him and almost killed him a second time.
Well, if it keeps on working, why not?
I thought this was about keeping Uzi safe. No, this is about keeping Mystic very unsafe. My God.
You got to give props to RNG's bot lane. They're very persistent.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I gotta say, though, this series is delivering significantly more than I thought it would. Like, these are some of our most storied teams in the LPL. Both of them, of course, made it into playoffs. So, yeah, of course it was going to be a good matchup, but I wasn't expecting to just have this much raw fun with it.
Yeah, and WE, they're looking to get some revenge on RNG. Spring Finals 2017. W swept RNG 3-0. It was a very clean matchup overall, but since then, RNG's actually taken every single match against W, eliminated them from playoffs earlier in 2018, and won all their regular split matches. Now, here's the gank we're talking about.
Xiaohu's got to dodge it away, but the flash from Weishang should secure the kill here. Boom! There goes the dynamite. There goes Xiaohu.
Super crucial kill here. This is going to decide whether Karma and Olaf works as a combination, or it just keeps on getting ganked over and over again. If you look at Xie, he did not expend his flash here. They're going to be able to limit this Karma pick from now on.
Got to be careful, though. Xiaohu will still have pressure. Luckily for him, he also has the ability to farm up and just wait. He went for the Klepto.
So the Colonel's actually giving this composition all the way to RNG. That was the game time to win ratio, and it's based off the champion pick selected. And it seems like in the Colonel's mind, RNG simply outdrafted. It is based on the the collected data of all the LPL games so far, and it just tracks what win rate individual champions have across a time frame. So it does seem like RNG actually have champions that just win more early and late.
Well, if it takes into account positions as well, the fun part about that is, I mean, who plays mid Karma? It's Xiaohu and Doinby. Like, that's it.
That's a good point.
Who are very good mid laners and win a lot.
So they probably drag the win rate up quite significantly. Now, taking a look here, Mystic still doesn't have flash, and he's going to get ganked again.
Xiaohu actually did a much better job this time of dissuading the gank, but it could still turn out. Force the flash from Mystic, but now under tower, Ming's in trouble. Ignite's still ticking. Will be able to get the kill, but Missing taking a lot of damage too. Karsa
also
is in
going
trouble.
down.
Missing just one more auto. It's the undertow. Karsa sacrifices himself to give the solo kill over to Mystic.
That's a huge breathing room coming in from Mystic. He's already 20 CS down. Getting that kill and the blue buff is going to help him farm up this wave so much better. And RNG, I feel like they just played a little bit too much. I'm not sure how Karsa was that low trying to chase Mystic down.
Uzi has to be careful here. He should have the spell shield back up, I believe. No, otherwise he would not have flashed that one. Might be back up in a few seconds. He's had a while in this chase, but not up in time, so he might just die here. Beishang picks up the kill.
Very good chase down, using the Stalker Splay to make sure Uzi died right there. Uzi actually held on to his flash for a very long time. I actually felt like he should have flashed backwards immediately.
Let's take a look at this bottom lane play again. It was quite a fiesta.
So Tower Aggro does not go on Morgana, but the Ignite and the auto attacks are enough. Karsa over chases here, takes a lot of damage. I'm actually surprised he just did die then and there. Comes back, finishes off the Nautilus just so Uzi does not have to take tower aggro, and W claw themselves back into the game. The bot lane looked like it was under a ton of pressure, but successful ganks mid are taking them back.
I feel so bad for Xiaohu right now. The chain ganks are really showing the pressure. Karsa's still alive under the tower. They're chasing down onto Missing. They know he's the easiest to abuse, but he might be able to get the kill onto Karsa. No such luck. Karsa, the Conqueror, sustained plus his W, keeping him alive there. Now 3-1-0, but still, Xiaohu has been having so much trouble.
Great move from W, but I think Xiaohu actually did his job right there. He survived a lot longer than W expected. They thought it was an easy slice and dice, and they would just be able to finish off the kill. Does take them under tower, and basically whittles away 2 kills right there. So RNG comes out ahead quite heavily in that trade, and they're going to have priority in the bot lane as well.
Yeah, the bot lane, I mean, it'd be hard to go much more in your favor at this point because of that level 1. But
you mean getting forced out of lane 3 times in a row?
That
was like a high school bully play, but well, it worked.
Hey, Mystic, remember me from high school? It's Tanner. But Uzi having a great time there. He's up almost 30 CS. He was considering going for the BF sword. He actually bought it and then decided to undo the purchase because he just wanted to bully a little bit harder, but does still want to go for that Essence Reaver first, so instead went for the pickaxe and double longsword. I think it works out to roughly the same AD anyways. Ming gets hooked in there, has the black shield, depth charge going to come out, flashes away, make sure he doesn't get killed by that, but the Void Seeker does a ton of damage. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Karsa going wild, that healing, my God! Double kill for him, and he is now 5-1-0. Clement! This man's unstoppable.
What I said. Look, if you find RNG's 2v2 in the mid lane, you win. If RNG finds your jungle on your side of the map, you lose. That's basically how the matchup works right there. And judging by the place that contact happened, it did seem like Olaf found Rek'Sai. There's so much shielding, and the Reckless Swings does give you extra bonuses from healing as well. Final tick of Triumph, keeping Olaf alive right there. Just watching this team fight. Should be just a speed up from Karsa. Oh no, actually doesn't even need to use a speed up. Just a straight shield into the empowered Q to take down Rek'Sai. Based on probably overestimating how much HP he had. And ooh, that was unfortunate. I felt like the chain lash was in the wrong direction. Probably could have traded away Karsa, but
I think he thought the AoE damage from the Petricite burst would be enough to take him down.
Yeah.
But if you looked at how much healing Karsa was getting just from continuing to smack Xie, I feel like it was just unfortunate.
It was very, very close. That traded kill back would have meant a lot.
Unfortunately, though, 5-1-0 still there for Karsa. He's having a great time of things. And WE, this is really not looking great for them. They're down an Infernal Drake. They're down, I mean, it's 1 kill, but it's how the kills happen that's been mattering so far. 1.6k gold lead now. Because Karsa, when he gets a lead early, he is a fantastic jungler at moving it forward. His early game is one of the best in the LPL out of all the junglers. And, you know, you could make an argument for him being the best jungler in the LPL, period.
I think he is. I actually rank him higher than Ning, but let's watch this gank coming in first. Doesn't get tagged by the stun.
Looking for the execution there. He's got a lot of damage, but that's the Ragnarok pop. There it is, 6-1. They're just giving it all over to Karsa at this point. This feels mean.
I know. Like, in most instances, that Renekton would be fine. Let's watch this game. 3 versus 2 going in.
Ming just really needs
Uzi
to use that black
though.
shield preemptively almost. They might be able to get missing here. Uzi has a lot of damage coming out. Boomerang Blade going to be able to pick that one up. Uzi now 2-1-1. Doesn't quite have the Essence Reaver just yet, but has his boots and has the components except for the crit cloak. WE will not be able to transition this into the blue buff just yet, but they're still sticking around to try and make it happen.
You can tell this is an early season game for the LPL. Nobody's quite woken up enough. It's like RNG's like, we're making a play in the top side. You can make a play in the bot side. It's fine. We can win both sides of the map. No. Like, very typical of the LPL. Oh, okay.
What?
I'm telling you.
Hello?
They probably underestimated Uzi's damage right there. Straight boomerang to the face, and he just evaporates.
Yeah, 3-1-1 now on this Sivir with a 30 CS lead. Uzi's doing a lot better this game than he was last game, because last game he was just getting killed time after time, but this game, just the 1 death, and he's actually been picking up the kills early on.
And I expect Bason to be quite underleveled. You can see only level 7 right now. Uzi does have the advantage and also the kills. So early split, we usually see the CKPM shoot across the roof, and then it suddenly gets lower. Everyone's like, oh, okay, we can't do this. We have to slow down now. But early split is the best for the LPL.
That's right. Dude, I love early split LPL. That's why I love the region. It's crazy sometimes. Here, another trade in the top lane. This one's a little bit less crazy than everything that's been going over on the rest of the map. But you know what? We can give them credit for trying. Keeping us entertained. And now Karsa, the 6-1-0 Viking monster at this point. Just going to farm.
The key point about this map right now is that W has pretty much lost control of mid-jungle. They don't have the priority here. And if they ever run into a 2v2, Karsa's going to chop them down. So it becomes very hard for the Rek'Sai to do anything. And Rek'Sai is one of those champions that can't really do much once he's behind. She's behind. She's a queen. Forgot about that.
That's right. We stand. All right. Longsheen in the top lane. Trying to farm up a little bit now. There are things going in WE's favor. We've been talking a lot about RNG because they're, I mean, look at what Uzi and Karsa have been doing. Yeah. They're kind of running away with this game, but the mid lane is looking to be a good point for WE right now. There is the CS lead there for Xie as well as the top lane. So I feel like they need to leverage these leads somehow. Otherwise, RNG are just going to run away with it because you look at it, you have 2 Enchanter supports.
This is what you have to stop. If RNG ever get into this position, they're just so far ahead.
Oh my god.
You can't let them roam towards the bot lane. You have to be able to be willing to actually sacrifice tower damage or sacrifice CS from your top lane and try to defend. We call it the Silk Road behind the red buff because it leads towards the bottom lane so easily. And like, this is what we said. If Olaf and Karma ever get priority and your bot lane is a Sivir against a Kai'Sa, this play is just going to happen over and over again.
Now, RNG looking for this tower. They want to get the first one for themselves here. At the very least, going to get turret plating there for Uzi. Missing and Mystic going to do their best to try and clear this wave, but Uzi just does so much damage at this point.
Yeah, already with the completed item, he also has infinite spam pretty much. The Boomerang Blade is just going to be thrown over and over again.
And Karsa easily going to be picking up the second dragon here. Theoretically, Beishang's coming in to try and contest, but not going to be able to find that one. Xiaohu goes in for the slow. He's going to be able to land it. The root lands as well. Karsa going to look for it. Ragnarok's popped. Here comes the Viking, and he's angry. Uzi picks up a kill that teleports in. That's not where you want to be, Post, and he flashes out immediately.
Yikes. You just see how much control RNG's priority in these mid and bot lanes really mean to the team. So the way you can deal with a situation like this, and we've seen JD Gaming do this actually quite a lot, is proactively swap. If you know you're going to lose your bot lane, you don't have priority of that lane, just go top lane and take the Herald. At least get something back. Try to equalize the deficit. But I'm actually quite surprised by how persistent they are in going into this bot lane. And nothing good is ever going to come out of this bot lane at this point.
They're sacrificing so much for it because it feels like they're thinking what got them to playoffs. And that was their bottom lane. Yes. Great. However, things are really not going well for them when they're bashing their head against that wall. You have a winning lane in mid who's been doing very well. If you could snowball that, you have pressure on Xiaohu. You have pressure against the roams.
So I think W should have made this play minutes ago, to be honest. They could have prevented a lot of pain happening to the bot lane. They were never going to win that. This is a good rotation still from them. You see Uzi still staying in the bot side trying to pick up the wave after Mystic shoved it in.
If he steals this, I swear.
Please no.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're good. Smite came out. I was frightened, Clement.
Yeah, I honestly feel like if RNG just stole that, like W would be tilted off.
That's an FF at 15 if I've ever seen one. Yeah. But luckily it did not happen.
Okay,
so.
okay. I'm actually glad for W because it's going to give us a lot more game time. This is a composition where you can still play quite a lot. And if Xie ever gets that Akali ultimate, which I think is going to be the #1 ultimate he's going to hijack, then they still have a very good chance. Xie can just burst into the back line and try to take out Uzi that way.
With the Proto Belt as well.
Yeah.
So much burst damage in that kit, plus the items, plus the ultimates he can steal. He has a lot of good options this game. Could take the Ragnarok, too, for team fighting. If you are feeling like you're not at a loss for damage. However, considering WE's position in this game, I do agree with you that they're probably going to need a little bit of damage.
I think the best case is just to get that Akali ultimate, try to burst someone down, and follow up with the Kai'Sa. The Kai'Sa can follow you anywhere. 3,000 range on that ultimate Killer Instinct if you get the Plasma Charge. So they should try to chase down.
Now, something interesting is happening over in Uzi's inventory this game because it seems like he started working towards building the Infinity Edge or got the Zeal.
Now, this is quite common. You just want some extra attack speed. Like, your best DPS route is splitting your gold between getting damage items and getting attack speed items.
Now, should be able to take out this outer tower here for RNG without contention. Still have the 7-1-1. Karsa there. He's picked up 2 items already. And Beishang still nowhere near his Black Cleaver. Longxing going to pick up the wave in the bottom side as well. But the game has slowed down pretty significantly from the breakneck pace it was in the early game. But RNG still holding on to that 5K gold lead.
And RNG have a very good chasing composition. If you look at the top side, it's completely open at this point on the hunt, and Karma can just lock someone down. So W are going to find it very difficult. I don't think they can push the wave beyond their blue buff at this point. If you look at the point that Mystic is calling his recalls, he's not even going towards River. He knows that that's a no-go zone so far. Like, even when he has the control ward over in his inner try, he's like, I'm going to stop at blue. And I think that's a smart choice. You have to play it that way and just hope that RNG get to the late game and you still have some choices back with the Kai'Sa to come back.
Now, if you're RNG in this situation with this massive lead that they have, especially on your fairly early game oriented jungler, do you need to keep the tempo up? Do you need to push it even further, or are they happy with the way things are going right now?
I would say it's always a good idea when you have Sivir and Karma to try to finish early. These champions are not champions that do... They're not exactly the best champions come late game. I would still take a Kai'Sa over a Sivir. And also, Olaf does lose a lot of his power. He can't tank and deal damage at the same time when it comes later into the game. So I think RNG are going to try and finish this off. And the way they're going to do it is they already have the top tower down. The mid tower is going to come down sometime soon as well. And I think they're just going to Baron bait to end the game. That should be their plan. If W come close, they can chase them down.
Oh, here they're looking for the pick on Xiaohu. They will find it. Goodbye. Beishang picks up his 3rd kill of the game. But on the bottom side of the map, RNG getting a trade of their own. They'll be able to pick up the Mountain Drake.
Really smart move from WE. And the angle of the attack was quite great as well. Xiaohu didn't even step into his own river. He should have been safe there. But W throw enough of an overload towards the top side to get it.
Good timing for the Herald as well here for WE because there was no one there to defend it. Everyone was down in the bottom side taking the Dragon. So might even be able to get a little bit more onto this tower in the tier 2. Chunking it down to half is the Rift Herald, but unfortunately Shelly will lose her life in death in service in WE.
I so want to see a full 5-on-5 team fight with max items between Mystic and Uzi. That's all I have on my Christmas list so far.
I don't know if we're going to get it this game.
W don't want, RNG don't want to see it for sure, but I think W are actually doing a very good job at equalizing. They got 2 towers in the last minute.
Well, this was a theme last game as well. No matter what lead RNG was able to take, WE were kicking and screaming the whole way and contesting everything that RNG were trying to do. So I think, if nothing else, that is where WE are going to excel, is trying to counter, trying to mitigate the damage of RNG's choices and the things they're able to pull off. Because, I mean, Mystic is behind Uzi, yeah, but he's still scaling. You know, he's got the evolved Q at this point. He should have the evolved E in about 400 gold.
And he can actually join these side lane fights a lot sooner than Uzi can. He can just fly over with Killer Instinct. Yeah. So once they clear the wave, I actually think W has more map pressure at the point. Renekton is still at the phase where he can push out the Akali, and there's better scaling on Xia's part. So here we go.
Engage from Missing. Depth charge onto Xiaohu, but the Black Shield will save him for the time being. And Uzi just free-firing in the backline. That is some massive move speed coming out. They're still looking for it. Xiaohu coming in, looking for Missing under the tower. He goes golden to keep himself alive for the time being, but they're just diving between the 2 towers. Xie has to get out somehow. The chase down, the triple kill for Karsa. Longxing gets the kill on the Akali, and it's going to be the ace almost. Missing, he goes down, and the ace is completed there by Xiaohu.
That was insane. RNG didn't lose a single member in that team fight. That was underneath WE's tower. That was W engaging on the fight. And RNG don't lose a single member.
That
Great turret aggro.
That wasn't just underneath the tower, Clement. That was between the towers. That was ridiculous. And with the help of the Infernal and the Mountain Drake, this Baron is butter in the hands of RNG. And now
I can't believe how well that team fight went for RNG. I felt like at least they would lose someone, but just so much damage being turned around on Karsa's side. He's 7 kills on that Olaf, and look how fast Pose just disappears from the fight. Mystic takes that boomerang to the face, and then the auto attack from Uzi, which is auto lock on, finds the kill there. And just see how well RNG are juggling this turret aggro. Longxing almost goes down, but is still able to clean up the kill. Same thing with Xiaohu. Great accuracy on that Q. And they clean up that fight 5-0. Absolutely insane.
They're still chasing down. Look at all that move speed that's coming in from the shield from Xiaohu, but that's going to be the teleport. It's going to be a 4 versus 3 here in the bottom lane, but it doesn't look like WE want to follow that one up. Smart of them, because RNG at this point are doing absolutely amazingly. And I think, Clement, my favorite part of that team fight was the double move speed buff from Xiaohu and Uzi, because they ran fast under that tower. Can never let up when you're running at 600 move speed into the enemy team. Where are they going to go? You can just chase them.
It's just absolutely insane team fighting from from RNG's part. There's no words to describe what they really did right there. They had such good backline access. They killed the front line. They ran the entire team from WE down. And at the same time, they kept all of their members alive. WE were scrambling. They were routed, essentially. And they couldn't pick out any targets. Safe Baron from that afterwards. And this is going to be an inhibitor. And in a blink of an eye, it became from something like a 5K lead over to a 10K lead.
Has been the theme for this series. Last game, the exact same thing happened. There was a fight, immediately transitioned into Baron, and then RNG said, that's us hitting the go button. It's time. Now they're going to be looking for their second inhibitor tower here in the bottom lane. They should be able to find this one, but Missing wants to go in for the engage. I don't think he likes the results of that one. The tower goes down, and so does he. Mystic now being chased down. Dunked down by Longxing, and now RNG are just running it through WE. That's 3 kills, and Xie and Beishang the only ones left alive. That's 2 inhibitors down, and RNG, they're looking to end here. That's going to be 1 Nexus Tower. Can they take the second one? 20-second death timers on Mystic and Post. It looks like RNG just going to take the clean 2-0 against WE in their first series of the split here in the summer 2019 of the LPL.
This is the RNG of 2018. This is the RNG that gives you impeccable team fights, that gives you innovative compositions and performances from every single lane. This is the RNG that we missed in spring, and it absolutely sends chills down my spine. Masterful performance from all of their members. That was an even-footed fight at some points in the map, but they absolutely crushed it. I was actually quite... I had a lot of worries about this team. I felt like this team, with Longxing coming into the mix, was not a guaranteed success story. If you look at the trajectories, Longxing requires a lot of resources in the top lane, and if you look at someone like Stake, his coaching tenure featured top laners like MMD, who was playing with Mouse, and it felt like actually Longxing was going to have the same clash of styles that he found on Suning. But none of that happened. They played like a unit. They played incredibly cohesive. This was a very late roster announcement, by the way, so only about 2 weeks of time, and they still kept their strengths. Karsa was amazing that game. 11 kills on the Olaf. Really out-damaging, I believe, even the top laner, or actually every single person on the team from the other side.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. But RNG, this is the RNG I wish had showed up to playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
By far. I mean, this is so much stronger, and I think a lot of this, it can't be understated how good of an effect I think Longxing has had on this team, because it doesn't show up as strongly because he's not actively carrying the team, but he's not dying.
Just the Akali flex is enough to rejoice. Even when they had Let Me, they couldn't play the Akali flex. So I was never a part of their roster. You look at this series, already Longxing picking up Akali, Xiaohu being confident on that champion, it gives you a lot of hope that they can move in the direction like teams like TES, like IG, and G2 have already shown. This is a flexing meta, and RNG are on board. I really like Stake's flavors as well. This is a lot of the old Flashful type of styles we see with the Karma and the Olaf as in that combination. And the key point for that game was the fact that the ganks, even though they did come in early for WE, they couldn't contain the Karma and the Olaf. If they could do that, they could scale more in their bot side with the Kai'Sa and Nautilus, and maybe had an even 5v5 situation. But that match, even though they got the early kill, Olaf did run away with it. There was 5 kills earlier on with the Olaf, and Karma Olaf roaming to the bot lane happened so many times in conjunction. WE, I felt, didn't respond fast enough by sending their bot lane towards the top side and just switching up the Herald. It was a lost cause in the bot side as well. So they were a little bit slow on the rotation, and they didn't snowball that early single gank they had onto the Karma, I think, enough. And that kind of just gave RNG the priority on the map to close the game out.
And I think the bigger problem is that the possibility to just roam down into the bottom lane was just compounding the level 1 issues.
Yeah.
Because you have to talk about that when you have a series like that where the level 1 is that ridiculous. First off, you try and go for the kill onto their bottom lane. You throw the binding out. It doesn't land. You don't get anything. Okay, fine. Most people, most bot lanes would back off. No. No. You're not thinking like RNG.
He didn't have to walk that close to the brush. I think
that's another problem entirely, Clement. But they go for it again. They blow everything.
Yeah.
They get the kill. At that point, you would think Mystic would say, "Okay, let me not walk on that side of the minions. Let me walk on this side of the lane." No. RNG went for it again, was successful again, chunked him down to half, made him blow his potion, and that really started issues that were only compounded by the Olaf, by the Karma. And it felt like WE at that point was already at such a disadvantage. They were having more than a little difficulty bringing it back.
The dive that gave Olaf 2 kills really hurt them a lot as well. I think that was a crucial turning point. I actually felt with the early kill that maybe W was going to be fine, but that didn't turn out to be the case. However, this is only one round of Robin that we have in 2019. So W, if they want revenge, they're going to have to get it from RNG in the playoffs. But so far, that's going to be 5 matches in a row that RNG has taken over W in this classic LPL matchup.
Yeah, and this one was a little bit scary. I'm actually really excited to see RNG going forward, because this was
they're usually not in shape at the start of the split.
No!
Which is what I found surprising.
Last split, they were atrocious at the beginning. I was
Yes.
like, RNG, why is everyone saying RNG is going to be at the top? I say right now they look at best like a 10th place team.
Yeah.
Eventually, they found back their form. Once Uzi came back, they started running back into form. But to start off the split this strong is a great indicator.
RNG are a team that usually wake up around July 4th. They're like, you know, they're great fans of America, I think, or something. But it's pretty scary to see RNG in this form right now, and to see this team that was basically put together within 2 weeks' time. So there's a lot of stealing for RNG. This was truly a chilling display of just how strong they are as a team fighting team. And I think a lot of people looking at Spring, they might be a little bit disappointed. They might think RNG have been off their game or taken a massive blow after Worlds 2018. Well, I want to say welcome back, RNG. They look really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the criticisms that I personally had towards RNG were directed at Uzi.
Yeah.
Because he has been, for so long, the reliable carry of RNG. Everyone depends on him. If you see an RNG series, you expect, okay, Uzi's going to carry this one. But he had so many positioning mistakes, especially on things like Vayne, where a positioning mistake is deadly.
Yep.
He would walk into these fights and get picked off. He would walk in, step a little bit too far forward. I didn't see that this series.
2019 was the earliest RNG has ever exited a playoffs. They were 5th and 6th place, being taken down by JD Gaming in a 4-game series right there. So I think that did give them the sudden shock therapy to wake up and start boosting up their roster with all these with Longxing. And if you want to talk about the problems that RNG had in 2019, I think there were threefold. Number one, they had declining performances from Xiaohu and Uzi for sure. Number two, their top lane roster was very inconsistent. They didn't necessarily think Amazing J was performing at his peak. And then you had retirement issues from both Zatai and Letme, so they shored out that with Longxing. And number three is that their draft was just kind of stale. Their draft didn't really work up into the meta. It was still very bottom focused and almost only had one win condition at a time. But this new RNG, they solved their flex issues. They have the Akali up there. I think top lane has a lot more agency now with Longxing. And as we just saw, Xiaohu and Uzi seem to be on point. So I think it's we're going back to 2018.
Yeah, and it's not surprising as well to see Carson form again, but it's nice. It's just really gratifying to see him get so fed so early, 2 games in a row, because it's just like, yes.
Olaf is going to be the #1 ban pick champion for a very long time, I feel like. Nobody's willing to let the flex picks out, so the junglers are kind of free to get the first pick in. And I think Olaf's combination with Yuumi is absolutely disgusting. So, and also the scuttle changes basically took all the junglers that had level 2 ganking powers and put them on Olaf's playing field. So he's the king of the jungle right now. He's the king of Yuumi right now. And the ability to give you a uncontestable level 1 is absolutely disgusting. You see all these teams, when they play against Olaf and Yuumi, they just clear out their side of the jungle. They're like, you want a vertical jungle? We'll give it to you. It's fine. Do whatever you want. Just don't take your first blood. So I think his synergy with the picks in the meta right now, and just the lack of scuttle encouraging these junglers that want to clear out their entire jungle on the first rotation, is going to make Olaf a staple pick for a very long time. The cards have shifted. Rek'Sai, for me, has dropped a lot, because Rek'Sai, she doesn't have that great of a matchup into the Olaf itself. So we're going to see a lot of these meta changes right now, and I really like them so far. I think the meta changes have been great from a viewing experience. You still have all the bruisers, you still have all the flex, and then you have these crazy specific compositions with Yuumi in the mix.
You know what else was a great viewing experience, Clement?
What?
That was going to be Karsa's Olaf, because that's our MVP for last game. Absolutely disgusting. 11-1-5. What the hell, Karsa? 84.2% kill participation. This man took the idea of being a Viking and he just pillaged the hell out of WE all game long.
Warriors, Black Cleaver, Olaf in the mix. He did 25% of his team's damage. Now, usually junglers are about 16 or 17%. The moment I really woke up to how fed Karsa actually was when he basically chopped down Renekton on Dominus. Pose was in the middle of a team fight. He had his ultimate up, and then he got evaporated within 3 seconds. Olaf was like, undertow, auto attack, E, and Renekton just died. I was like, huh, is that supposed to happen?
That's rough.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. So Olaf be on high alert. Also to note is that Olaf has been Karsa's best champion since Spring Split. He actually has the highest win rate of any LPL player on that champion, and the meta is suiting up to him. I think you're going to see a lot of bans thrown at Karsa's way just to free up. They're probably going to let Jace or something through the ban picks, but Karsa on Olaf, I really can't think of a good counter to Olaf in this meta. I don't think there is one.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right. Ban that out, according to Clement Chu. But RNG, Olaf, both looking pretty strong today. Let's take a look at the results in the standings after today's matches. And, of course, EDG, FPX, RNG, LGD, all undefeated because they've only had one series each.
Yep. Only one match. And the teams that I am really excited about are actually Rogue Warriors and LNG. Now, it might seem weird, but Rogue Warriors have had the biggest roster revamp of any team in the LPL so far. I think people might think of them as a team that were around 14th and 15th place. This split, Raz has put them into playoff contention. They have the top laner in Holder, and also Haro has arrived in their jungle spot as well. So that's going to be super exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see those. Let's take a look at tomorrow's matches, see what's coming up for us. We have Suning versus VG to start it off tomorrow, followed by Invictus Gaming versus Dominus.
Ooh, so everyone's going to be waiting for Invictus Gaming, their first match after that MSI defeat. I heard that they are craving for revenge. I think it's a great wake-up call for them to be more prepared for their matchups, and a great wake-up call. For Suning, they've lost Longxing, and I think they're going to be far more bottom lane focused. Longxing was actually sitting the bench by the end of the split in favor for a bot-heavy approach surrounding SMLZ. So that's what I'm going to be expecting out of Suning. And Vici, very much the same deal. I think their best part of their map is in the bot lane with Puff and Southwind. So it's going to be a bot versus bot matchup in the first match. And then for IG versus Dominus, excuse me. I think the junglers are the fun matchups to watch because Xiaopeng, our Nidalee resident main, great champion. They've also won the NEST, the most recent NEST Cup. He's one of those junglers that is going to look for that 1v1 against Ning. And I don't think Ning's going to have a happy game if that happens.
So, I'm really excited for that jungle matchup because I feel like both of those junglers are in their own way, and I say this absolutely with the highest of praise, clinically insane in the way they play.
They should be institutionalized.
Yes,
for sure.
Both of them are absolutely insane. We've seen Ning go for like these repeat invades at like level 2 or 3. It's just like that's just Ning doing Ning things. He'll dive in 1 versus 5 if he thinks he can get a kill. That's just Ning being him, man. How are you going to stop him from being himself? You're not. That's the answer. And then it's the same with Xiaopeng. It's just like, okay, you want to pick Nidalee? Sure, cool. I guess we just won't have a composition. And then suddenly Xiaopeng just pops off on the Nidalee. You're like, okay. If you're Coach Ba, you're like, yes.
All right, actually deals the most damage percentage out of any jungler in the LPL. So just let that sink in. He's very close to a top laner in terms of damage share. So that's kind of the way these two junglers roll. And